Hello, friends. We welcome you to the Legal Breeze. Today, we'll be discussing about the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Act 2021. What is the reasons for this Amendment Act? What is its implications on gender justice, right to privacy, and how it is useful, its advantages and disadvantages. Before we go into this particular Amendment Act, we should see how the Parent Act, that is a 1971 Act, has come into picture. And we should also look into what is the prior law prior to the commencement of the MTP Act. So these are the few aspects which we need to study here. The British India has completely penalized abortion. It is termed as miscarriage. This has been dealt under the offences relating to the birth of the children in IPC. I advise all our students to read section 312, 313 and 314 of the IPC, which penalizes the medical professionals who are carrying out abortion in violation of the aforestated sections. There are 2 points must be kept in mind. The consent of the women is very much important for getting abortion. The only ground permitted under IPC is that and only the abortion will save the life of the women in that situation alone, or if the pregnancy is endangers the life of the women alone, is the only ground to terminate the pregnancy. Abortions are otherwise it is amounting to miscarriage. Punishment varies from minimum 3 years to life imprisonment depending upon the status of the fetus which has been aborted. Say example, if the child is able to quickening, then the punishment is more. If it is without quickening, the punishment is slightly lesser. You may ask me, what is that quickening? Quickening means the movement of the fetus can be realized by this mother, pregnant mother. Generally, people say, medical experts says, the movements of the child can be realized by the pregnant mother after the 20 weeks, generally, of the pregnancy. Now, we need to come back to the 1971 Act. How this Act has come? It has been stated in the statement and objects of the class that millions and millions of illegal abortions are taking place. Please remember, there are 2 types of abortion. One is a natural abortion. Another is induced abortion. Induced abortion can be done by through Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act. And please remember, it can be done by 2 methods. Abortion can be done by 2 methods medically. One is called medical abortion. Another is surgical abortion. Medical abortion itself is classified into various categories depending upon the trimester in which the abortion is carried out. Say example, within 20 weeks, the procedure is slightly different. It's very simple. It's just with the usage of tablets. Even no admission is required. Just if they are administering certain oral pills, the abortion can be done. Above 20 to 24, it is very difficult. So therefore, there is something called suction evacuation method. It can be manual as well as electrical can be done. And beyond that, there are many more methods. I think if you go into medical people's advice, I think they will give it to you. There are 2 drugs associated with this medical abortion. One is called misoprostol and misoprostol. These are the 2 drugs administered generally. There are many other drugs, but these are the few important drugs administered for carrying out abortion under the MTP Act. Now let us come back to the legal provision. The 1971 Act has been enacted based on the recommendation of the Shanti Lal Shah Committee, which has been constituted way back in 1960s. It has made a thorough study and submitted its recommendation. Its recommendation has been carried out in the form of 1971 Act. Thereafter, there is no there was lot of demands to change this act. This demand has culminated in the form of 2021 amendment very recently. Rajya Sabha has passed the act later, that is in the year 2021. Lok Sabha has passed it in 2020. What are the salient features of this Amendment Act? First, very important thing, it raises the gestational period from 20 weeks to 24 weeks. That's very important, right? But this 24 weeks is not available for all the women. It is available only to the vulnerable group of women. What is that vulnerable group of women? Say example, a woman who has been subjected to sexual assault, rape or rape victim, and differently abled and destitutes, something like that. Those who are staying in destitute homes are intellectually differently abled. The list keeps going like this. But they should have been at a very disadvantaged position. That's very important. For them alone, the gestational period has been raised from 20 weeks to 24 weeks. That's the maximum upper limit of termination of the pregnancy is allowed under the MTP Act. For others, still it is only 20 weeks. Below 20 weeks or up to 20 weeks, only one medical practitioner's consent is sufficient. Between 20 to 24 weeks, the patient has to obtain two medical practitioners, registered medical practitioners' consent is required. Above 24 weeks, they have to get it done with the approval of the board. That's very important, right? It also, another important welcomable signal from this act is that it recognizes the current reality. People are entering into live-in relationship nowadays. They don't go for marriage. So it recognizes the right to abort, a right to reproductive health of the unmarried women. That's very important, because otherwise it stigmatizes and the women are forced to go to illegal affairs, and thereby they are endangering their right to life itself. Their entire health is sacrificed. That's very unfortunate. This law redresses the same successfully. Instead of using the word husband, fortunately it uses the term partner. But I believe the consent of the partner should not be given more importance. Only the consent of the women, pregnant women, has to be given more importance. Contraceptive failure is also recognized as a ground for carrying out abortions. That's also a very important, welcomable feature of this particular act is concerned. But that should be done within 20 weeks or up to 20 weeks. It cannot be permitted beyond that. Even this live-in relationship also should be done within 20 weeks, and it cannot be permitted beyond 20 weeks, generally, in general circumstances. Substantial fetus of anomalies or substantial anomalies of fetus, and this particular ground, termination can be done at any point of time with the consent of the board. That's very important. That's a very welcomable change brought about this particular act is concerned. Then how this act is protecting the right to privacy, that's also very important. Any medical practitioners who is carrying out termination of pregnancy under this act must keep the information confidentially. If they are revealing it, it is entitled to leading of punishment. That's very important. But however, they have to share the data with the Directorate of Health. That's very, very important. And if necessary, the information has to be shared with the law enforcemental agencies, including to the court. But I believe this clause should be slightly amended. Only at the permission of the court, this information shall be shared. That's very important with the law enforcemental agency. Otherwise, this may be misused, and this may violate right to privacy. But the legal critics are telling that this law does not effectively addresses the right to reproductive health of the women. Even today, though the bill uses the term autonomy, dignity, justice, this is very important. I think these words used in the objects and reasons clause can be given a wider interpretation by the courts, particularly the High Court and Supreme Court, in enhancing the right to reproductive health of the women. There are few cases I think we need to cite. The Suchitra versus Chandigarh administration is a very important case where the right to reproductive health of the women has been successfully applied. This is a case relating to the intellectually differently abled. She has been raped, but she doesn't understand the consequences of the rape. But still, she wants to rear up the child. She wants to give birth to the child and she wants to bring up the child. Her wishes are being taken into account by the Supreme Court, and it has permitted to carry out the pregnancy, and the expenses shall be borne by the state itself. That's what the Supreme Court has ordered in this particular case is concerned. Likewise, Justice Chandrachud's opinion in Puttaswamy is very important. Justice Chandrachud has gone on record to say in this particular judgment that right to abstain from procreation of the child is an important right under the right to privacy of under Article 21 of the Constitution. This has been emphatically stated by Justice Chandrachud in the Puttaswamy case. We hope in the forthcoming days, there are various international conventions such as Convention on the Rights of the Persons with a Disability. There are many more international conventions are also supporting this right to reproductive health of the women, sexual autonomy, body autonomy, and choices. All these things are emanating and evolving. We hope that in the days to come, Supreme Court will protect more proactively the right to reproductive health of the women rather than men. God bless you all. Thank you. Jai Hind.